we will talk about comprehension and Precis writing. Comprehension means understanding, what you understand from your reading of an unseen passage. And Precis writing, how precise you can be in your summary of a given question. There are 20 marks for it, and you can get a 20 out of 20 if you keep in mind the following points. So how do we attempt comprehension passage? Let's begin. To do your comprehension well, you must read the passage at least 3 times. Yes, at least 3 times. The first reading, you may not be able to understand. It may not really register what exactly the passage is all about. So you give a second reading and a third reading. By the end of the third reading, you will have understood quite a bit about the passage. Now, a word of caution. Do not look at the questions and then read the passage trying to locate the answers. That is a wrong approach. You read the passage 3 times without looking at the questions. After you have read it 3 times, then you look at the questions and then you answer. That way, it will be easier for you to find the answers, because it is not necessary that the first question will have its answer in the first paragraph. It could be in the last paragraph, it could be somewhere in the passage. If I say read it 3 times, some of you might think you do not have enough time. But if you use your time to read the passage well, then you will not waste your time in writing the answers. So it is not wastage of time. Okay? So read the passage well and then attempt the questions. Now, when you have the comprehension passage, the first question is like this. It says, give the meaning of each of the following words as used in the passage. 1 word or short phrases will be accepted. Now, this is where actually children lose marks. Okay? Now, most of the time, the words that are asked are not very difficult words. Okay? You should have come across these words in your day-to-day reading. And if not, you are supposed to gauge the meaning from the given context. Now, if you have words like these, for example, look at the first word, occasionally. Now, if you write for occasionally, the answer as rare or the meaning as rare, I have marked it wrong. Why? Because occasionally is an adverb. So you need to write your answer as an adverb. So occasionally, the correct answer is rarely. Okay? If you write a long explanation, for example, occasionally means something that happens sometimes, then you will not get marks. Okay? The next word is displayed. Now here the word is in the past tense and hence the correct answer is exhibited. If you were to write exhibiting, then it would be wrong. To put on a show is an explanation of the word. Do not write an explanation, write synonyms. If you write your answer or the word that you have given as an answer in the passage, it should read with the same sense. Then you know that you have given the correct meaning. Suppose the next word you have is whine, which means cry. So crying will be wrong. You could write to cry like a dog, to cry like a little dog, then the answer would be correct. So the gist of this is, in the vocabulary section, you can do better if you are a good reader. You can still understand the meaning of the words by reading them in the given context. Answer in the same tense and in the same part of speech, and do not explain the word. Try to write a synonym, and when you use your answer in the passage, it should read with the same sense. Then you know you have got your answer correct. Do not waste much time over this. It should not take you more than a minute to write these answers. Okay? Now, to help you understand how to do a Precis, here is a passage. Okay, this is the very famous story, The Mark of Vishnu, by the prolific writer Khushwant Singh. And this is the passage. There is a link in the description box. If you want, you can download it and attempt it yourself. Now here you have the first question on vocabulary. So next, In comprehension, you have question answers. Now, to get full marks in comprehension, write to the point and as it says in your own words. Obviously, there will be certain words you might lift from the passage which may be crucial to your answer, but show that you have comprehension, you have understanding, and write to the point and do not simply lift the entire passage as your answer. Now also I have noticed that in the comprehension passage there might be one question, the answer to which is not directly given in the paragraph. So you need to use your own understanding, your own comprehension. I remember last year there was this question, what does the presence of animals indicate in the passage? So there was no clear-cut answer in print, but you were supposed to write that it shows that the owner was a loving person, a caring person, or a compassionate person. So don't hesitate to express your views for such answers. Now we come to the Precis. It says, in not more than 50 words, narrate how the young boys captured Kalana. Now the first thing you need to do, focus on the question asked in the Precis. Here it clearly says how the young boys captured Kalanag, how the young boys captured the snake. Now, if you have a question, this is an example. If you have a question like this, how do we proceed? Okay, now this is the passage. In the passage, if you see, the passage that begins with, the paragraph that begins with, grass had begun to show till, we are going to put him in spirit. This entire passage deals with how the boys captured Kalanag. So first you segregate the passage, then you underline all the key points that pertain to this question, how the boys captured Kalanag. Okay, so here I have made a little draft to show you these are the key points. Now ideally in a Precis, the marks are 8, but they are bifurcated as 6 and 2. 6 marks are for the points, for your content of your Precis, and 2 marks are for your expression. So for 6 marks, you need to write at least 6 to 8 points in your answer. So here you can see there are around 10 to 12 points I have marked. You can lift any of the most important 6 to 8 points and make your answer. Okay, now here, how do you write the Precis? Okay, let's just have a look at what are the things you need to keep in mind. First, you need to make 2 grids. Okay, the 2 grids, the first one would be a rough draft in which you will write with a pencil. The second is the fair draft in which you write in ink. The grid that you will make will be 5 columns and 10 rows only. Do not reverse it. Do not make it into 10 columns and 5 rows. Then draw it neatly, use a pencil and a scale, number it, and at the end mention 50 words in brackets. Okay, now here this was a question. This was a question, how the young boys captured Kalanag. I read the passage, I marked all the points. Now these are all the points that I found that were relevant to my answer. Now I put them into a paragraph. Now I have made the grid, I have used a pencil and a scale. I have written in this grid in pencil. Why? Because when I try to fit in all the points, I might exceed the space that has been given to me. So I can erase, make it more concise, try and make it more concise and fit in all the points, possible points that are relevant. And then when I feel that I have made my answer in 50 words, I can be satisfied with that, and then I can ink it out in the next grid. So when you make your grid, utilize your full page. Don't be stingy. Don't make it very small and cramped. And then whatever you're writing over here, make sure you copy it in a similar manner down. Okay, so you write on the top a rough draft. You number this. Why I'm saying you number this? Because sometimes children are under stress and they might end up making one extra column and in the process ending with a 60-word summary rather than a 50. Okay, so here I included all my points. I made my answer. Okay, and I'm sure if you were to make your own answer, you would come up with a much better answer. Now, what happens if you don't write your answer in a grid? You can write your answer in a passage. Okay, here I have given you an example. You can write your answer in a passage, but then at the end write 50 words. Similarly, here at the end of the grid also you need to write 50 words in brackets. If you don't do this, you lose your marks in expression. Okay. Now here he has read the passage, he has counted your words because it was in a paragraph form, and he has seen that you have written 50 words. Fine. He reads this passage and he finds that you have exceeded the word limit by 1 word or 2 words. He will draw a line here. He'll mark it 50 words. He'll write 50 words here and give you 0 in expression. So I hope you have understood how to go about attempting comprehension. I repeat once again, comprehension means understanding. Read the passage at least 3 times so that you comprehend and you answer to the point. You do not waste time in answering. For Precis, the marks are divided as 6 and 2. 6 is for what you write in the grid and 2 for expression. Make sure that you keep your mind focused on what is the question in the Precis. Most of the time, children end up writing irrelevant stuff in the grid and hence they do not get marks. It is easy to score. Practice, use your passages from your Total English workbook, and I'm sure you will be able to score very well in your comprehension. All the best.